'em up, lay it down just like Matt and Mari. Wrestling liver RHAPUp's gonna make it sorry. Feeling like The Rock cause I'm driving in Ferraris. And we coming every weekend, it's feeling like a party. Will Ric Flair, showing out like Bianca Belair, Best podcast, flush it in the air, Roman Reigns and we win it, don't care, No cap. Throw 'em up, lay it down just like Matt and Mari. Wrestling liver RHAPUp's gonna make it sorry. Feeling like The Rock cause I'm driving in Ferraris. And we coming every weekend, it's feeling like a party.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Wrestling RHAPUp podcast. I'm your host, Mari Forth, and with me, as sometimes my original tag team partner, Matt Scott. Mr. Matt Scott. Matt, you're back.
I am happy to be here. I loved last week's episode with Sarah Carradine, aka Gilda Tintin Ventura. What?
Yes.
I don't know what you all, but I don't know what was going on. There was madness without me around last week. It's okay. You did a great job replacing me. I got very jealous along the way, and actually, I'm gonna block Sarah on Twitter to show her that it's not cool to be better than me.
Sarah is a great partner. She is my partner in crime. So she is my partner in crime. You are my tag team partner. So don't worry. There's room for everybody. We don't need to fight. Yeah.
I'll take your word for it, but honestly, amazing job. And it's cool. It was cool seeing how Sarah's like actually becoming a wrestling fan nowadays. She knows the people. I'm glad that you cleared things up with her on the Mercedes Moné versus Sasha Banks deal. But that's amazing stuff last week. And I did pause it along the way just to insert my own thoughts to myself.
All right. So you had a pretty good week last week.
I did in New Orleans. You also made it sound like I was on some like spy operation for work, but I was like, it's nothing sketchy or sad, but yeah, in New Orleans, filming some cool stuff for work, and I'm actually still here. So cool stuff.
Yes. Okay. We do have an amazing guest this week. But before we get into that, we just want to quickly send our condolences to the family of wrestler Jay Briscoe, who tragically died in a head-on car collision earlier this week. So just our condolences to the friends and family of Jay Briscoe. All right. Let's get into it because I am actually very excited this week. Matt, take it away for our guest announcement.
Yes, and excited for this episode. Excited to dive in, Mari. I think this might be an all-time great episode. I'm just putting it out there.
Yes, I think so too.
Let me clear my throat. Making her way to the podcast, serving foxy realness and black girl magic. She's the Divas Drag Race Season 3 winner, Orlando Drag Race Live Season 7 Miss Congeniality, and she's been your reigning, defending Divas champ for 5 years and counting with the greatest reign in Divas history. Move over, Alicia Fox. She's a wrestling fan's drag dream. Look over here. It's Victoria Mother effing Cage.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being
beautiful.
Here. Thank you for being
Oh my
here.
gosh. That was amazing, Matt. You take me out every time. I'm like, I don't know what he's going to say either, y'all. I promise.
It is true. You don't.
Victoria, welcome to the podcast. We're so excited to have you.
Thank you, my love. I'm happy to be here. It's my very first wrestling podcast. And
So we have to tell the people we are on Twitter, like we be on. Everybody knows they can find Matt and Mari on Twitter. And we ran across this amazing tweet from Victoria, one of her drag performances, shouting out Mother Alicia Fox. And the moment we saw it, we were like, we need to have her on as a guest. Matt, show the people the clip, please.
Look, I
Please.
know, and it's iconic. Hopefully, we don't get sued by Alicia Fox or Beyonce, but here we go.
You are all witnesses to the greatest reign in Divas Championship history. Whether it be a singles match, a tag team match, a battle royal, or a fatal four, I have beaten all of you. Yep, that's right, all of you. There isn't a diva on this whole roster that is comparable to me.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. So
An icon.
good. Victoria, can you tell us a little bit about like how did you come up with that? That was amazing.
Yes. So I actually did that number before. So that was my second time doing that number.
Ooh.
And we were doing like a wrestling theme, and I was like, oh,
Wow.
what? Yeah, of course. And so I make my own mixes, and of course, when we're talking wrestling, we have to talk about Alicia Fox, right? And so I
Mhm.
just wanted to incorporate her in that. And like that
Wow.
promo, I've had that promo memorized since I was like 13 years old.
Wow.
So like,
Yes.
of course, and that was really cool to bring that to the stage because it like meshes my two loves, my two worlds together. Because I've been a wrestling fan my entire life, and I'm happy I get to share that with like the drag community and the queer community. Like it's amazing.
Yeah, and
That is awesome.
it is amazing, and it's cool because I'm curious what other wrestling drag performances you've done. I did see Alita. You had a Lita drag performance
Yes.
going on. I'm a huge Lita fan, but like, are there
Mhm.
any others that you've been able to do that we might need to check out or find or replicate?
So not as of yet.
Okay.
However, definitely more to come because like
Mhm.
I draw a lot of inspiration from WWE. So
We love
yes.
Yes. So you said you've been
GP.
watching since you were younger. Can you tell us your like background with wrestling?
So my father, he was a big wrestling fan, and he introduced wrestling to me. He loved the divas as well.
Mhm.
And so that's how I really got into it. Like, and I would play all of like the classic video games, like Just
Mhm.
Bring It for
Yes.
the
Yeah.
Yeah.
original like PlayStation, I think.
Mhm.
And like Shut Your Mouth, Here
Yep.
Comes the Pain.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really how I, got into it, but I never really stopped watching it.
Mhm.
It always just became, that thing. And yeah, I carried it with me till adulthood. And so
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that so much too, especially because like my wrestling fandom actually started through the video games. And actually, like the
Mhm.
more that like I've just heard different people's wrestling origin stories, it's cool that a lot of people started with the video games around that time and then, became more and more wrestling fans. So it's awesome. And it's cool. It's cool.
So do you like who was your favorite wrestler back then and who's your favorite wrestler right now?
Yes. So Lita was my very first original like favorite wrestler. I loved her
Mhm.
style, like her attitude, and she could do like things that like nobody was really doing at the time.
Yeah.
True.
She's beautiful, right? And like I liked Gold Dust, very like feminine with the wig and the
Yeah.
robe. I was very into that even like, growing up. And Foxy, when she stepped on the scene, she
Of
instantly
course.
became like my number one, and I would consider her my number one to this day.
Mhm.
Yeah,
However,
I love
like in
that.
the current WWE product, I love Dana Brooke. I think
Yeah.
he's really cool. Very underrated.
Yeah.
So I'm feeling Dana Brooke right now.
I love that.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Mhm.
Oh, what do you think are some parallels between the art of drag and the art of wrestling?
Oh, like I feel like they go hand in hand, right? Like it's
Mhm.
all stage performance. It's the elegance, the extravagance, the glitz, the glam.
Mhm.
Also kind of the physicality too, like drag.
Mhm.
It's like drag kind of hurts, you know what I mean? But yeah, like and just storytelling more than anything, because like that is really what drag is about. It's like telling your story and
Wow.
sharing
Yeah.
what's on the inside, right?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
yeah, and like of course you can get into like creating a whole character, the persona. So literally, wrestling is drag. Like
Yeah.
it literally is.
I
Yeah.
completely agree with that.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's always interesting because, like, I swear it's so funny because I'm like, have we talked about this on the podcast before or off podcast? But like, there are so many parallels, and like, we are both fans of drag, including like RuPaul's Drag Race,
Yeah.
but then also just the, of course, wrestling. And I wish that there was more crossover between the two. I feel like
I
the two
know.
communities like just need to like see that like wrestling is very much drag, which is
Right.
it's beautiful.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And I feel like a lot of the wrestling community, like the straight, like,
Mhm.
the mindset, right? They don't really look at drag as, they don't see the connection. But
Yeah.
I'm like,
Mhm.
it literally is. Like
Mhm.
it's the same. And like I feel like if like more wrestling fans were introduced to like drag, they would really understand and be able to relate because they're already fans of drag. They just don't
Yeah.
know
They just don't know it.
Exactly.
Oh, perfect.
it.
Perfectly said, and I completely agree. We like as somebody who loves Drag Race, who loves supporting my local queens, who
Mhm.
love wrestling, growing up loving wrestling. I just it is all a show, it's all performance, and you have to have that like that charismatic, um, like it's just persona to put it all
Right.
forward. So it truly is such a great crossover. And we haven't seen it since season 4 when they had the wrestling challenge in season 4 and Drag
Oh
Race
my
where everybody
I
got
god.
hurt.
love that challenge. And they, what was it? John Morrison, I think, was
Yes, I think
there.
he helped train or
Yeah,
something.
it's like
Oh
he's
my god.
teaching
Yeah.
these girls how to bump, and like the gays are not having it. They're like, "What? What is this?" Meanwhile, I'd love to do that. I hope
Yes.
they bring it back because like it's so cool. And I
Mhm.
don't know if you guys are fans of Dragula at all,
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
but
Mhm.
they did a challenge recently. It was like the Ugly Ladies of Wrestling type of deal on their show, and
Yeah.
where they mix the two worlds together. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, this is quite literally it. It's,
Yes.
it's it.
It's
Yeah.
insane, and I'll never forget that wrestling drag challenge. For whatever reason, like, the image that is in my head, I think is, like, Jiggly Caliente with somebody just, like, spinning around in, like, an airplane spin. It's wild. But, yeah, need to go back and check that out, maybe on, like, Paramount Plus or something like that. I'll have
Yep,
to
Yeah.
it's
find
all
it.
on there. So
Yeah.
So amazing.
Wow.
Oh, this is amazing. I know this is going to be a great episode. So,
Uh-huh.
let's get through some housekeeping and we can get
Yeah.
to our highlights of the week.
sounds good.
So, of course, you can always send any long form questions to wrestling@robhasawebsite.com. Send us your emails there. You can follow us on Twitter at Wrestling RHAPUp on Twitter. Use hashtag Wrestling RHAPUp if you want to join the conversation. Of course, you can join our unofficial official Facebook group. Job has a squadcast where we get all of our like questions, where we get
Mhm.
to talk to other RHAP fans or just wrestling fans in general. That we built like a little community here. Hopefully, you've already subscribed to our podcast feed. If you haven't, please, please, please go and subscribe. It really helps. And you can subscribe by going to robhasawebsite.com
Mhm.
/wrestling feed. So subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast.
Yeah.
And finally, why not? any time of the month is a great time of the month to become a patron on the RHAP Patreon. You can go to www.patreon.com/RHAP to become a patron today, and you'll get exclusive access to exclusive interviews, first like patron mafia games, stuff like that, access to the RHAP Facebook group. So definitely go become a patron as soon as you can. We're going to take a quick break and we'll come back to the highlights of the week. Okay, we're back. All right, we are excited. Since we have a women's wrestling aficionado as our guest in Victoria, we are definitely going to spotlight women's wrestling this week. We're going to just talk about a lot of the women's storylines. We will be back this Thursday to do our full Royal Rumble like prediction episode. We'll go in depth with the current storylines going into the Royal Rumble. So if you don't want to listen, you can wait until Wednesday. We don't care. It's all about the women today.
No, you need to listen to this one, but also come back and listen to us on Thursday and watch our faces. Watch our beautiful faces wherever you could find them on YouTube.
Yes, and of course, every week the highlights section can be found in a very handy dandy playlist that we include in our show notes, so you can watch along with us. We have all of the highlights in that playlist. It's either in the show notes or show description. So let's start off with Bianca and Alexa because, like I said, last week it was me and Sarah, as Matt pointed out. We were a little concerned. We had questions about this storyline. Victoria, how do you feel about this Bianca, Alexa, Uncle Howdy situation?
Yeah, it's definitely peculiar, right? It I don't really know where they're going with it. It kind of feels like they're just adding too many elements and kind of making it confusing for like viewers. However, they're going to keep us on our toes. We don't know who Uncle Howdy is just yet, even though people have been like speculating that it's Bo Dallas.
Bo Dallas,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see. But I'm excited to just see Bianca versus Alexa anyway. Bianca is one of my favorites. And I actually met Alexa Bliss at MegaCon in 2018. I think. I have a picture. I don't know where it is, but
it happened.
But it was a time in my life.
Yeah, that's amazing. I agree. I'm very confused. So Alexa and Bianca, Bianca, the one thing I don't like about storylines like this, like I get Bianca is the babyface champion, and so she's the one that's challenging Alexa. Matt knows I don't like these type of storylines because to me, if your babyface champion is asking somebody for a title shot, then I feel like they need to win or they look stupid. Like I always feel that way. Yeah. And WWE is very good at making their babyface champions look stupid. So I am excited about it. I would like for it to maybe have a little bit of a stipulation instead of just be like a regular match, you know. But this Uncle Howdy, like them brawling on Raw, Bianca seeming to get the upper hand, but then Uncle Howdy coming out and giving it, distracting Bianca enough for Alexa to turn the tables on her is very, very interesting. Matt, what do you think about this storyline?
You know, it's interesting. Like, I think it's interesting what you said, Mari, about babyface champions and like, you know, Bianca needs to win and will win here. I feel like this always happens at the Royal Rumble where it just fills time because you're, for the most part, and we've seen it here and there in different stories, but you're not going to change the champion at Royal Rumble. And then 2 months later, of course, it's WrestleMania. Again, that happens sometimes, but in this case, I don't feel like this story is about Bianca and if she could lose. And I think the thing I've loved about this story, which I don't think, you know, we've talked about this, Mari, where there was like the whole fight that Alexa and Bianca had the ring that was a reference to Scary Movie 3 or 5 or one of them.
Five.
Scary Movie 5, which was amazing. And I was watching
very
this
funny.
like, okay, what is this brawl referencing? Like, I bet there's some reference, though. I'm waiting for someone to piece that together. But, I don't think there's a question that Bianca's going to win here. I just kind of feel like this is a tool to help Alexa get to like this more interesting place for her like career or for her character, because she kind of has been in that place. And Mari, I did appreciate last week how you and Sarah were talking about how like the weird thing about it is like referencing therapy as the reason why Alexa hasn't had like the full on like fire, like the personality that we were so used to, like even in 2018 and some of these other points. But I mean, she hasn't really had that, and it's cool to see that coming back. And I don't know, I'm just like excited for that. But Victoria, I saw you like nodding along. It's like curious with your thoughts on that too.
No, I agree. I definitely don't think Bianca is going to lose her championship come the Royal Rumble. However, I have mixed feelings about Alexa Bliss going back to Bray Wyatt, just because like Alexa's a star on her own, and like there's only really so much you can do with like a character like that. I much preferred her goddess character, like and I feel like she can be taken seriously like as a competitor, like more so in that realm, or like experiment with an entirely different character. I just kind of don't want to see them go back to what they did before with the Bray Wyatt thing.
Yeah,
it didn't really go too much anywhere.
Yeah, I agree. I just think maybe if this is going to be a faction, it might be a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? Like, instead of just the two of them. But I agree. I think the biggest thing is I think Alexa wouldn't be doing this if she didn't want to. And I think she really likes flexing her acting chops.
Oh,
I think that's what that's what me and Sarah were talking about last week. I think she feels really comfortable being able to exude a character, and that's why this whole, like she said, like the just happy-go-lucky Alexa next to Asuka and Bianca thing just wasn't working for her. So I agree. I think maybe this is just a stopgap until they can find a better character for her, but I think she does really good when she's given something to actually like sink her teeth into. So it's rough because I'm very on board with this storyline. I'm very on board with like the whole Bray Wyatt thing, but I don't want to be that wrestling fan that's like, hurry up,
like what's going on?
Like, let's get to the meat and potatoes.
I'm ready for it. I'm ready for something to be revealed. Hopefully Royal Rumble a lot would be showcased in that regard, because it's taking its handy dandy time.
Yeah
Exactly. All right, any last thoughts about Alexa Bliss and Bianca before we move on?
Bianca's a star. Like,
amazing.
Alexa's also a star. This is gonna be a great matchup. I really like anytime Bianca is in the ring. I just know that it's gonna be a good match. Like, I can feel safe knowing I'm like, okay, sit down and just watch magic. Like,
exactly that.
And I love that. And just like even to add to that positivity, I think one thing I appreciate is that we do have a story here, and it's a distinct story going into the Rumble. Like, there is some meat on the story, even if it's like, what's happening? And it gives Bianca something to do that is compelling. But I like the thing that I think will be interesting is from the Rumble onward, where do we go to WrestleMania? Obviously, there's like a lot of options. We'll talk about the Women's Rumble later a little bit, or at least in terms of some of the speculation. But I mean, you're right. Like, they're both stars, and it's cool to see them in the spot. I hope that like just the impatience that people have doesn't take away from any of like the hype for the match or anyone's excitement around this match when it comes up in a couple weeks at the Rumble.
Yeah, I agree. I think Bianca, I actually do like that it is a storyline between the two of them, even though, like Matt said, that it feels like this is to really have Alexa Bliss like figure out what her character is. It doesn't feel like Bianca is an afterthought. I truly
Right.
don't feel like that. So they're building it in the right way. And yeah, I always love the after Rumble time because it's just like everything starts to kind of like feel like it falls into place and stuff. And this is always the best time in WWE.
Yeah.
So Becky came back because I feel like Becky was like missing. like it's very weird because I sometimes forget that like Becky came back in like the middle of like October or something, and just like appeared, and then her and Bailey had some fights, and then she kind of left, or maybe
For
she
the
just had the
Survivor Series, or
yeah.
no, War Games,
War
right
games,
before
war
War
games.
Games.
Yes. Exactly. Like it's weird because Becky is normally always the spotlight and she's here and she's doing amazing work, but I just, that end of November, December spot is just a death spot for us. We weren't recording, like it's always just that spot where it's like nobody really cares. So I am glad that Becky came back. Her and Bailey have, of course, this fire promo exchange. Like they really are so good on the mic together, and all of it is like all the little truth like laced through it. And you really feel like they're coming off the cuff, and people are finally getting their, like, everybody's always wanted the Bailey versus Becky, and to have it in this kind of like flip flop of a where Bailey is the heel and Becky is like the face in the situation.
Yeah.
It's so good. And here Becky challenges Bailey to a steel cage match. What do we think about this, Victoria?
Oh, I'm so ready for it
Mhm.
because like the very first like women's steel cage match, Lita versus my main
Yeah.
twin,
Uh-huh.
like that was iconic. So everybody's going to really be like, oh, how will it, measure up? And I feel like it'll exceed everybody's expectations because they're
Mhm.
both such solid workers, right? And
Yes.
like this storyline is very compelling to me. I love all the four horsewomen, and I'm
Same.
so excited to see them go against each other. Bailey's killing it as a heel and with damage control. I love the trio. Like, I
Mhm.
want to see them do more things. And this is, a step in that right direction. So if Bailey's not, challenging Bianca,
Yeah.
then why not pair her with Becky? Because it's gonna draw a crowd and
Mhm.
That's for
bring a
sure.
lot of people for sure.
Yeah, and you can tell it's gonna draw a crowd because if they're putting it on Raw 30 instead of the Rumble. I was actually like a little shocked, but then I'm like, no, it's because they need to be ready to go in the Rumble.
Right.
Matt, what do you think?
I mean, I will say, just speaking of that Raw 30 match, I mean, I'm not holding my breath for it, but I did see some little Photoshop done. Lita as the guest referee of this
Oh,
match, which in all
oh,
our
that'd be
minds
great.
would be amazing. Why not? I mean, and like she'll probably we'll talk Rumble speculation. Like we've
Yeah.
seen Lita pop up in so many Rumbles, but you know what? Just bring her back like a week early. Give her a little bit of something to do. She'll probably be free on Monday, right?
That would
So
be so
like let's
great.
have
Oh
her
my
there
god.
and show up at the Rumble and win the Rumble and then win the championship at Wrestlemania. We'll get there. We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yes.
But like, but no, I love this, and I love how like real it. I love whenever there's Mari. I think you said like the truth bombs that are included. Like
Mhm.
I love that there's Becky who talks about like she was never supposed to be the man and the
Mhm.
star, and that is so true, and it goes beyond kayfabe. But then the
Mhm.
other thing with this that I just appreciate the reminders was that Bailey was in NXT for a while after, and there were all these
Mhm.
stories. And I'm still, I think I'm okay now, but I was disappointed for a long time when Bailey didn't become the next John Cena, like they said. And when you really think about it, like Becky ended up in that spot in a weird way. I would not call her the next John Cena. She's the first, the only Becky Lynch, the first, the man, in my opinion, or at least the one that resonated most with people. And so I don't know. I like this, and I like it especially because I feel like Damage Control, who was amazing, like was doing so much, and they were taking over for their first few months, and then I don't know if it's just us, Mari, in terms of like that little break or what it was, but I feel like they cooled off a little bit.
Yeah.
And I like that they're with Becky, and like you can't deny that it's a high profile match. In my mind, I was also thinking like, okay, I see Alexa and Bianca over there, and then there's this Bailey Becky feud happening, and I love that we could have two like high profile, like basically like really the main event level caliber feuds, and that's pretty awesome. Yeah.
I agree. Did we get a little bit of a hint at Damage Control here splintering? Because Becky was like, you need those two, and Bailey was like, I don't need them. I don't need them. And it leads to the steel cage match. And I didn't catch it when I first watched it, but when I watched the clip a second time, I'm like, like Becky was throwing shade at Bailey, saying you couldn't do it, you can't do it without these two, and Bailey was like, I don't need them, and I was like I'm wondering, is there some cracks? Maybe I just made it up, but I hope there isn't, because I truly am enjoying Damage Control. I do wish they were getting like more wins, especially since they're the tag team champions. I should not forget that they are the tag team champions. Like, again, this is the reason Sasha and Naomi walked out. It's like, give them actual storylines, because we're getting Bianca and Alexa, we're getting Becky and Bailey. Like, give Dakota and Io something as well. Like, right now they're kind of just beating up on Mia Yim, whose name is now Michin, basically, which isn't too bad. I mean, it's whatever. Like, I want some storyline for those tag titles.
I do too, and there's so many women on the roster that could benefit from just investment in the tag title division. And I feel like they are sort of being an afterthought yet again, in this regard. However, I'm just fingers crossing that they'll have like an important role to play in this upcoming matchup. And then if they break up, I mean, no tag team's gonna last forever. However, if they were to break up, I don't know, maybe like turning Io and Dakota face and having them break off against Bailey. I don't know. The possibilities are endless. So I guess we'll see, but hopefully they're smart about it, because they have a whole bunch of well-deserving talent on their hands right now.
Yeah, and I love even just talking about the tag team championships, the women's tag team championships, as an afterthought here, because if we look over at the men's division, I mean, they have these very layered stories where it's like you have the bloodline, but then you have the whole Sammy Roman dynamic, but then the Sammy KO dynamic, and then there's like Roman and KO around the championship, but then you also have the Usos tied in with that story with their championships, and then the Judgment Day is involved, and then you have like Rhea Ripley, and it's like insane. And I really do, we'll talk more about that all in the Royal Rumble predictions when we cover those, but like, why can't we have like a secondary layer to this where there's like a women's tag team that is like either associated with Becky or like shows up to go for those titles? Because it's like, why is no one like coming for the tag titles in that same way in the women's division? It just doesn't make sense.
Exactly. It really doesn't. So hopefully they'll get something. There's so many women like Mia Yim, Candice LeRae. They were, it's just, Dana Brooke is still in the back right now. Like,
and then there's the whole other, like the SmackDown women's division, which like who cares about that? I mean, look, they could do whatever they want with the brand split, if that's even still technically a thing. Who knows anymore? But like, you could have a lot of those women who even returns. Like, what if you had like Tegan Knox and Emma together and showing? I don't know what the combination is, but like, they are doing some stuff with Emma, definitely. But just like having a team that's maybe of some of those returnees or returners and backing Becky could also help them get over. Like, get a Tegan Knox over by giving her something that is, involves some personality, some fire, something, anything, or even like Raquel. Well, yeah, like just spice her up, or like Raquel even is someone who comes to mind.
I
And
think
yeah,
I think Toxic Attraction is over on NXT looking for a leader. So like,
well, that's okay. Well, sorry, back to Dana Brooke, just to bring her up. I would love to see her over there with Toxic Attraction for all the beautiful stories. Yes, Victoria's a fan of that too.
I
But
love that.
I just had to
Dana,
put it out there.
yeah, she's been killing it on Main Event too with like Zoe Stark. I don't know if you've
oh
Yeah.
yeah, Zoe.
catching up on those matches, but like she's looking the best she's ever looked in the ring. And yeah, I'm excited. Hopefully, they do something with her, because like, why not throw some of these girls in the tag division? Like, they're there.
Yeah.
We want to see them. So
On SmackDown, they just started like the men's tag team #1 contender tournament, and it's like, I know we got the tournament for the vacant women's titles, but like the week before they did the tag team turmoil match on Raw for the Raw belts. Like, give the women a tag team turmoil match and then bring them all over. Like, let's do it. Come on, it's possible. It's not hard.
of course.
Okay, let's move on over to Matt's favorite.
No. Okay,
women's
go ahead.
wrestler.
How dare you?
We're on. So what's going on? We're at Lacey Evans 3.0. Like, I am confusion. So Lacey Evans, she is the queen of the Vignette. She is the queen of the video package. Like, they will give her a video package any day. Will we see her in the ring? No, but we get a video package.
We did in the video package.
Today.
We saw her. Okay, so this is like, honestly, oh God, it's funny because like when I'm even looking for this video, looking to pull up some images, I'm like, I don't want to pull up anything of her with like machine guns. That's literally all her Twitter is her holding a machine gun. I'm like, let's not do that. Maybe that's just like not a thing that we need to do anymore. Right. But anyway, like it's crazy because like she was, what was it, Murray? Like a few months ago or whenever they started, like it feels like they've been showing these video packages forever, to be honest.
Trauma dump.
But no, because that was like early last year. This, I mean, her combat training, like she was first like doing like the army crawls and in the mud, and I'm like, this is not going to help you with your wrestling. This is like going to, you might as well go to Soul Cycle and like just get your reps in. But I do appreciate that she's in a ring. I do think it's funny because there's no way that she's going to be able to take on 3 people at once in a WWE ring. I also cannot get over, like you said, Mari, my favorite wrestler. But I can't get over just like how much, not to be so negative, but I think she deserves it. But it's just like a lot of, like, it doesn't translate to pro wrestling. Like, so I get that someone backstage is like a fan of the armed forces, and like Mari and I've talked about how like we come from families of veterans and all that, but like it's not pro wrestling. Like, if you want to prove that you could be a pro wrestler, why are you showing us video packages of you doing Marine stuff? We want to see you wrestling.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And not just the Cobra Clutch.
Me personally, I'm not really a fan of where this is going so far, and honestly, like it's I don't think it's gonna ever really translate because like you have people who have certain views on like the military and war and all of this, right? And honestly, I kind of want her to separate herself from that
Right.
in the
Mhm.
WWE sense. Like, I love the Southern Belle thing. It was cute, and like
Yeah.
I was a
Yeah.
fan,
I was a fan too,
And
yeah.
then they switched it up on us and gave us this like Sonya Blade like bootleg type whatever. I'm like, what's going on here? I'm not a fan of this. It just feels forced. And
Yeah.
I'm like, just no. Like, and it
It's
feels like, yeah, sorry.
no, that was my fault. I didn't mean to step on you there. It just feels like weird because I agree with Victoria. I forget that I was a fan of her, like the very, very original iteration of like the Southern Belle, and she was
Mhm.
like when she was in the Mae Young Classic.
Mm.
I thought it was so good. And then once she turned heel and started leaning into like unfortunately what is like veiled like far right like policies, it felt
Oh
like
yeah.
like it kept like getting on the line of like girl, I don't know.
Mhm.
That's when I haven't seen it for her, but I really actually did like her in her first like apple pie iteration. Kind of reminds me of like Glow, like when it was
Mhm.
Mm.
like American but like
Yes.
bubbly American, not we're the best American.
I'd love to see them
Right.
camp it up and like make it
Yes.
sillier.
Exactly.
Honestly, like
Yes.
the Southern Belle, silly. There are ways to make it work, and I don't feel like they're going in the right direction so far. So hopefully they go back to the editing board and take some notes, because yeah,
Um,
I'm no. Mm-mm.
It's rough.
Yeah.
It's rough. And it's like, it's interesting because I even, and this is probably what Mari's referencing in terms of Lacey Evans, my favorite wrestler. Uh, but I don't know. I remember 2 years ago when we started the podcast, there was like the wild feud where it was Charlotte and it was basically Charlotte versus Ric Flair and Lacey Evans,
Yes.
which was like so gross in terms of the idea of it. But I also was like, I like that they're going here. They're going here. It felt very
Mhm.
Jerry Springer. And then her character was so defined. And I even liked the Mae Young Classic version, which I believe she was a baby face at the time, and
She
maybe she
was,
was in a
yeah.
couple of them. But
Mhm.
they talked about her being Marine and a mom, and like her daughter was in the crowd, and there was all of that.
Yeah.
And then they just went in this direction, and it's like really unfortunate. And again, if you're watching the video, I found like one of the pictures of her in camo doing something. Don't ask me what she's doing. It's tongue out. I don't know.
Flipping the
But
bird.
like it's wild because I just want to make the comment that WWE and its values are very particular. And I'm thinking of like Mandy Rose with this, but like it kind of annoys me that they're okay with like a performer just holding like machine guns in a country where we know what it is, and especially for certain communities, and how things happen and how we're treated,
Mhm.
and they're okay with that because again it's like the far right politics thing. But then you can't you can't like show your nipples and or you get fired. So I'm just
Yeah.
like, look, I don't know. It's just annoying. And I just want to mention that and call that out. But, we're not surprised. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, like violence is accepted, but like having control over your body and your sexuality isn't. Um, my biggest thing here is it looks like they are gonna go the Sergeant Slaughter route with her, introducing the Cobra Clutch.
Yeah.
This the voiceover, I will give that
Oh,
to them. That voiceover was I love that. It sounded like the lady from Snapped almost.
That's that's my one positive note. I'm like, you know what? I do appreciate a good affirmation. I like manifesting. I like how she's like, you could do this, Lacey. You just need your
Yes.
Cobra Clutch. You could beat anybody. You're going so far. I'm like, yes, just keep
Yeah,
Okay.
that
repeating that
was
for
good.
yourself and maybe it will come
Okay.
true. That's my one note, my one positive note.
Yeah. So if they go with Sergeant Slaughter rate, my biggest thing, the biggest thing about these type of characters, like these um Marine forward characters, this USA forward characters, is you're gonna need if that is supposed to be the face, you're gonna need a villain. And 9 times out of 10, the villain is gonna be somebody foreign. And I don't know if that is going to work in this day and age. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. Maybe it won't work for me, maybe it'll work for other people. But I think it has to be it's just the character is so weird. Like I never know if she's a face or a heel. Like I never know if she's a face or a heel.
Right.
Like they need to go all in. Like Victoria said, they need to camp it up. Like no matter which way you go, you need to like camp it up. And that's why I say they need to go like maybe with Sergeant Slaughter, where they overdo how villainous he is until it tips to the scales, and then he goes back to like uber babyface. You know what I'm saying? Like it's always that point. You go all in until it's able to tip over to where you truly want to land, right? So I don't know, Victoria, any more thoughts about this Lacey Evans thing?
I mean, I agree with everything that you said. Like, it's not giving me the vibes that I'm looking for right now. And like, I really do hope they add a silliness element to it. Or something, because it's not well defined whether she's a face or a heel, and sometimes you don't need it to be. However, for characters like this, you sort of it's got to be, and it's sort of, I feel like it's constricting her. Like, like this character can either be like the G.I. Jane villain or the G.I. Jane superhero. Like, there's really no in between for it to go. I feel like it's going to fizzle out, just like they did with the past iteration of it. It feels the same to me, at least, when she came back and she was like waiting for people to respect her. I feel like that started out as like a face moment, and then they realized how bad it was, and then they were like, oh, okay, we're going to turn her heel. And I feel like that's the same thing that's going to happen here. I just feel like they need to scrap this altogether. Like, no, like no. So
it's wild
on it.
And it's wild.
Very confusing.
It is confusing, and it's just interesting because I think that when, like, one of the things that sometimes happens in WWE is, or in wrestling in general, is there's kind of a thing that they're leading toward, and you kind of could see where they're going, but you're not fully sure. Like with, I mean, really, you could think of like most things, like when it comes to who might win the Rumble, like you see some people where you're like, ooh, they're definitely a contender. We're building toward that, rather than something being a complete surprise, or, ooh, they're building toward that feud. And, so I have no clue who she could possibly feud with. And like, that drives me like wild, not knowing, or not even like seeing how anyone could feud with her with like on the opposite side of this character. But yeah, I like the idea of like a comedy character version of Lacey Evans with this. I just don't think that's where they're going. I know that's not where they're going.
That's not where they're going. And that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm saying, because if you're gonna go this route, it's always something like, I could see them trying to bring back Xia Lee's like, yes.
No, we cannot. No, okay, we cannot. I'm gonna make this call right now, just mostly out of like wishful thinking. Again, I said manifesting. It will not be a like foreign heel dynamic in the traditional way, because we're in 2023, and I know that I could be wrong, but wishful thinking that's not the direction we're going. I mean, maybe at the worst they'll go with like Tegan Knox or something.
That was my second thought. You read my mind.
I'm more okay with that. I'm slightly more okay with that, just because like there's less of the racial element, I guess, just to be blunt about it. But like,
there's no racial element, but there is kind of a like
in the water. It's a little bit. I'm like, it's getting too close for comfort. I'm not.
Exactly.
Ooh. I'm scared.
Cringe alert.
I know.
I mean, how bad? It can't get much worse.
I know. Her Cobra clutch looked good though. I'll give it to her. That Cobra clutch looked good.
Yes.
Okay. The voiceover was, I really want to know who did that voiceover. It was really good. and I'm pretty sure it was not her.
No, it definitely wasn't.
Yeah, I really want to know.
I don't know.
So
Oh,
we'll
well.
see. I mean, we'll probably just keep getting vignettes until
That's fair.
Rumble time.
Until they figure out what to do with her. I bet they're still thinking on it because they're probably in the like writing room like stressed as heck. 'Cause they're like, where are we going? We did all this for Lacey. Now what? Now what? Question mark.
Maybe
I'm
this is
telling
just.
you. I
Maybe
think
it's
I think
not
they're
a
going
story.
full. I think they're going to go full Sergeant Slaughter with her. I truly think they are.
Which could be, I mean, which wouldn't be horrible. It's just all about everything we've said already, blah, blah, blah. But like the thing, you know what I'm hoping? I'm hoping that this ends up just being like an ad for the Marines. And then they're just like, or maybe she ends up being like in the next Marine movie, and it does. She stays away from wrestling ring. So that's my hope.
Okay.
I did want to add one more thing,
Please.
because like correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Sergeant Slaughter say that he wasn't like okay with this whole gimmick thing? Like
Lacey Evans give it?
Yeah, like
I'll take your word
Oh,
for
I didn't
it.
know. I'll take I'll take your word for it.
I don't want
I don't know where he's been.
type of way. It's like, but I feel like that's something that I read.
Okay.
So feel free to fact check later. But
No, I mean, and like it's like,
But why
you know,
does he say-
honestly, that wouldn't be surprising. I have no clue where he is. Does he have? I don't know.
Because if anything, the one group of people she hasn't offended is the Marines. To me, I think if anything, they've actually done a really good job of like really hyping them up. So I don't understand what he would say about it. But
Oh,
I'm
and
not
I
surprised.
don't,
know.
and
I don't
yeah,
know.
no, thanks
Men
for
always
mentioning
have
that. No,
women's
'cause
too.
I just googled. That was a good. See, Victoria coming in with the, and who made this graphic of the Sergeant Slaughter and Lacey Evans together? Thank you to them. But no, it is like what is it? So I just googled this, and something came up. You know, who knows like how factual, but from 12 days ago, WWE legend Sergeant Slaughter went off on social media about Lacey Evans using the Cobra Clutch. So I guess he
sit
didn't like
down.
that. Yeah.
Wrestling moves are used sit down.
Yeah,
Sit
if it's
down.
about a wrestling move, then okay, it lacks any substance I thought I had in this topic. But it was like, okay, yeah, if it's about a move, then girl, bye. But
Yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, that
about
makes
the
more
gimmick
sense
itself.
though.
Mhm.
Yeah, that makes more sense. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. It's just wild.
I mean,
And
it's
yeah,
like I feel like I can talk bad about Lacey Evans, but Sergeant Slaughter can't. Sit down.
yeah, that's weird. But oh my gosh, he is on Twitter. Wow. You could never mind. I'm not gonna
Yep,
say you could
you
teach
live
old
and you
dogs
learn.
new tricks. I don't need to do that. That's not nice.
All right. Yeah, let's keep going.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
how do we feel about Sonya trying to goad Charlotte into a title match? Sonya's like, I am just gonna beat up on Charlotte until she puts me into a match here. We had last week. Sonya Deville asked Adam Pearce for a match. He said no, of course, because I don't know, they don't like each other anymore. And
Right.
so she decided to beat up Charlotte. And then this week in the ring, she tries to get Charlotte to, get her to fight for the title. How do we feel about this, Victoria?
Yes, I'm so excited. Sonya is like one of the very few women on the on that roster that haven't, won a championship, and
Yeah.
I feel like it's long overdue. Now, I don't think she's gonna ever like take it from Charlotte, to be completely honest. But like, I would love to see sometime in the future, like Sonya with the SmackDown Women's Championship, because like there's so many layers to her character, and like being, a backstage official like beforehand, and then mixing it in the ring now, and like I love where Sonya's character is going, and I'm glad that she's getting this opportunity. And Charlotte is, just a top-notch worker. Like she's just it's like she's impeccable, truly. So it's great. I love everything about this. I do. I'm very excited. I'm not sure how I feel about Charlotte's new theme.
Mm.
Oh, yeah.
But or that gear she returned in. It was.
I was
Sorry.
saying, I swear
Like,
it looked like she borrowed that from Lana.
I
Like
did
that was
not
some
get
Lana gear, and then she went
Was
back
that
to the
Lana's
normal
gear?
gear. It looked
Yeah.
straight up like Lana's gear. Like
Yeah,
It definitely looked like she was not planning to do it. Like that was like
Yeah.
a last minute thing. Definitely. That's
Yeah,
so funny.
yeah.
I love Sonya Deville. I'm like still
Right.
so mad that they did not capitalize on the her versus Naomi feud last year because it was
Oh my
such
gosh,
a
yeah.
good feud. It was such a good lead up that they deserve like a
They really
small
did.
spot on WrestleMania for that blow off. But you know,
Mhm.
the few things that we do know about last year's WrestleMania,
Right.
like Road to WrestleMania, Ronda's return,
To the Rumble.
you know, set in a chain of events that affected several of the other women's title feuds. So,
Right.
and we know because Sasha and Naomi were thrown together and
Yeah.
to a tag team a month before the WrestleMania, like it was affected by that. So I think they had the perfect Sonya had the perfect momentum for them to capitalize and for her to like be skyrocketed, and they didn't
It was
capitalize.
so
But
for sure.
but I still think she's one of my favorite women's wrestlers. I think she is
Yeah.
so good on the mic.
Okay.
I love this small mini feud with her and Adam Pearce.
Mhm.
And I love her thought process of I'll just like, just poke at Charlotte until she gives me a title. And then I think it's funny that Charlotte's like, no. And I'm like, and again, it just makes me look over at Bianca like this is what you should be doing. Like
Yeah.
don't
Yeah,
let
I
somebody
love
pressure you into a title match.
it.
So
Yeah.
I just hate that Sonya Deville. It always feels like Sonya Deville is always overlooked. And
Yes,
it
Yeah.
annoys the absolute hell out of me. It
oh my
truly,
gosh.
truly does.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Matt.
So look, I feel like I liked Charlotte's actual return. I didn't love the promo that next week. I do not like, I don't know what it is, but I don't like the call and response stuff to the crowd that's like a little bit more childish or whatever. But I think like I loved her this week because I love that she was just speaking the truth. She speaks from a place of authority in terms of her accomplishments. Charlotte does, and it was all true. Like that's the thing. Like everything she said was true and real. Like Sonya, you shouldn't be saying you're better than everybody
Everyone
else.
else.
And I didn't feel
Yeah.
like Charlotte was like this wasn't like heel Charlotte. Which my one thing with Charlotte is like her tone of voice is just always the same as a heel or a face. I feel like there are probably certain people who like slightly tweak it, but you have to like listen to Charlotte's words to like just get over the fact, or at least for me, I have to listen to her words to be like, okay, this is a babyface promo. And I liked that she was just speaking the truth. I also appreciate Sonya getting the best of her and attacking her again and again because I think that builds Sonya up without really taking anything away from Charlotte, and it shows that Charlotte isn't untouchable. Like she's able to take these
Good
beatings
point.
and get Sonya over while also still being, like Charlotte's never going to go down the card. We're way past that point, which is great. So like now we're actually in a point, and I'm sure we've seen it before with a bunch of people, but like she's building up, helping build Sonya as a star. I just hope I don't know if it will continue past the Royal Rumble, but I would like to see that continue.
Yeah. Anytime you're getting spotlight with the women's champion, with Charlotte, like Charlotte says, she's the opportunity. So it's always good. However, we got to see how the match layout is because if Charlotte's not willing to sell for you, that's never a good position to be in. However, Charlotte did let Sonya get the best of her here. So we'll see. Like I want so much more for Sonya Deville. Again, it feels like there's so many women that they could be doing so many like really good things with, and they're just not doing it. And because we don't know what's going on with Ronda, it kind of feels like until we get a resolution with that, it won't matter who Charlotte faces. Because something has to be happening with Ronda, right? She just didn't just fall off the face of the earth, you know.
No, where'd she go? What's what's she
doing?
Yeah,
Let's message her. See what's going on.
I'm okay. I'm okay.
I'm okay too.
I'm
It's all
okay.
good. I'm fine with her absence.
Will she be? Yeah, maybe she'll be at the Rumble. Maybe she just said, "Look, I'll come back and I'll win that again, and it'll be all good."
Jeez.
Hopefully not, but I do
let's
hope
not do
a
that.
returning person does win.
Yes.
I hope a legend wins. Like I have my. If we get into that, we can, but back to like, Sonya and Charlotte, like, I definitely don't think they're gonna, change hands in terms of the title if they, go for it or what have you. But I do think this is definitely a good thing for Sonya. It only elevates Sonya, and hopefully it leads to a title reign, because like it's time for her. It's been time for her to be champion. She's great on the mic, great in the ring. Like, I love her look, her style, her energy, and like this heel like boss moment thing. Like, I'm an official, no, I'm not.
I
And
love
then,
that
like,
so
I
much.
love it because like it's like she's the only one doing that right now. There's nobody that has that particular gimmick right now.
Yeah, so true. All right, that's it for the women's highlights, really. So let's just get into like some Royal Rumble wish list thinking, speculation, all of that good stuff. So there has been a little bit of speculation online. I don't know if you guys saw this, but WWE posted an AJ Lee match on their YouTube page.
Mari, was it a match or was it just I thought it was the segment of her kissing John Cena.
John Cena, yeah. Great point. Yeah, they uploaded, you're right, they uploaded an AJ Lee segment, and I don't think they've done that it's been years.
In a while.
So,
right.
Yeah. So people are speculating, will AJ Lee come back for the Rumble? I mean, she's currently working with the Women of Wrestling, like Wow Women of Wrestling, as like an executive producer, I think, and maybe commentary, if I remember correctly. I haven't checked in on them. We were gonna like check in on them, but I haven't heard much from them.
No, we were going to, and then I don't know what happened. It just wasn't like what it wasn't what we thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Oh, but it was not to get into all of this, but it was like Tessa Blanchard was their main champion, and then there was, I think, I can't remember if it was like racial or what, but she was out of the company, and then they kind of lost a lot of steam. So I don't know what they're up to now.
Yeah. And then I don't think they have like I don't know if they have an actual, they're on Access. Okay, they're on Access and Pluto TV. So a lot of people don't even get those channels, I think. Yeah. I know we did watch a few clips of their other champion. I can't remember who it was. But anyways, it could actually be, I mean, they let Mickie James come on with the TNA title last year. Right. So Victoria, you think we'll get AJ Lee? We could get AJ Lee in the Royal Rumble here?
Hopefully. I love AJ, but I honestly don't think she's interested right now in being in the ring in any capacity. Like, of course, you gotta be ring ready, and I don't know if like, at least I haven't seen her post any training, anything like that. So to me, I feel like it's a little bit unlikely, and it's interesting that her name is being circulated so much, because I'm like, that's kind of a far fetch for me. Like, I would love to see it, but I don't agree with the fact that people are like, oh yeah, like she could, because I'm like, I don't see it for her.
Yeah, I think like the other piece of it too, and
Great
just kind
point.
of build on what you're talking about. Like I'll always, every time we bring her up, I always mention like her book Crazy is My Superpower, which I loved reading. And also I'm sure there's probably an amazing audiobook for that too. And she is just like, she has stuff going on in her career outside of wrestling. And like, to your point, I mean, assuming she's even like in shape in the broader sense, like being in ring shape is a completely different thing. And so, you know, like if she wants to show up, that's fine. But also in my mind, like I don't know, I would not be disappointed. I would not be disappointed. But I kind of just would want like maybe we get like a full on story, because I think it's that big of a deal that in a world where like multiple people make surprise returns, maybe I'd be a little disappointed if her coming back like that, as opposed to like having a proper run. But you know, anything could happen. I mean, I think last year, what was it like? Because I actually was just rewatching the we were name checking her so much, but the Lita versus Becky match, one of the like from Elimination
Crown.
Chamber.
Yeah.
Elimination Chamber. So like, yeah, I was rewatching that, and I think that might have kind of started with like Lita returning at the Rumble again, as she does, as one does. But then she was back on that Monday after and cut a promo, and like then it led to a story. So maybe we'll get that with AJ potentially. But I'm like, if I had to bet money on it, I wouldn't bet money on it. I don't think it's gonna happen.
Exactly. And thank you for repissing me off, because they always do that. They bring back great people, and then you're like, oh my God, there's stuff that's happening in the Rumble. You could bring them back to like capitalize on it. Like Melina, when Melina and Sasha went toe to toe. And it's like, bring her back, give them a match. Like, and we haven't seen Melina since. Like, what is happening? And then didn't we have Ivory, right to censor Ivory last?
Yeah, she was great
And
last
you know that's
year
my
too.
favorite.
I think we might have had, what was that?
Cameron.
Yeah, Cameron. Cameron.
Yes.
That was great.
Who I do think is definitely returning to the Rumble. Like, if I had to say anybody, I would say Summer Rae for sure is going to be back.
That was great last year. That was great.
Good one. Summer Rae coming in with Natty. Cameron being in the middle of the Sonya Deville Naomi feud when Sonya was like, "Wait, is that her best friend?" and like got up off the
announce I was like, oh well, I'd say they're more than friends, girl. It's like practically
and they didn't follow up. It's like, man, there's so many storylines you created in that match that you could have followed up for the like fluff time between WrestleMania and Royal Rumble, and they never freaking do it. And now I'm not all over again.
Well, and like I just want to say too, like I just rewatched pieces of that Rumble, and like Cameron, and this is no shade, but like she seemed so ready for a ring return. Like that was, and I get it was only a few minutes, but like I feel like that was the most I've loved her in the ring. I'm like, have you been training these last however many years?
Yes, she has. And like you can definitely tell, like she's one that if they would be silly not to sign her again, because she can still go. She's still young and she's in shape. She's charismatic as well. And I would love to see Cameron come back and honestly get some of the opportunities that she didn't get her first run. Cause like I feel like Cameron could have, now, okay, with Cameron versus AJ Lee for the Divas Championship back in like what 2013. Now we knew Cameron wasn't gonna take it, but in my mind back then, I'm like, I hope she does, because I like her. I love me some Cameron. So
yes. Man, now I'm all upset because I remember when Ivory came out, and I was like, and then she had that exclusive at the after, and she was like, this women's locker room is full of filth and garbage. I was like, Ivory could come back and lead another right to censor. I was so excited, and then nothing, just absolutely nothing. All right, I gotta feel better. What do we think about Naomi probably coming back at the Royal Rumble?
What do you think, Victoria?
I think it might happen. I do. I do. I feel like why not? Like
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if
Yeah.
like she's really indicated that or like had dropped any hints about it, but like I would love to see it, and the Royal Rumble would be a perfect time for her to do so. Like, of course, like I could just imagine, I can hear it right now, the pop
Yeah.
that she's gonna
Mhm.
get,
Yeah.
like if she comes back, and like I love Naomi too, so I would love to see her come back and actually do something, maybe even win the thing. But I
Yeah.
also have other people that I would want to come back and win too. So
Well, yeah. And I think like it's interesting because I'm on her Twitter right now looking for what I thought I saw as a tweet from her. Mari, do you know what that tweet is, or because the thing is
Yeah.
it's not there anymore.
It's not there
Which
anymore.
no
Oh.
breaking news.
So well, you would know more, but Fightful Select had
Oh,
posted that
yeah,
they were getting closer to.
like negotiating a deal or something
Mhm.
like that. I think Naomi debunked whatever
yeah.
they said. However, that doesn't mean that she's not going to return. It just means that y'all need to stay out of her business.
Yeah. And
It's
Oh,
like talking
that
about her
tweet was deleted.
pay and all this.
uh
I was like, no.
yeah.
I would debunk that too. I was like, y'all don't know what's going on in these back meetings with her and WWE. Like, y'all don't know, so stop.
Yeah, it was
So
from what I
basically,
understood. Oh yeah,
yeah.
go Matt. You
Oh
go,
no, I
go,
was
go.
just gonna
No, no,
say,
you
and you
go.
kind of touched on this, but so Naomi, and it's since been deleted as I could see here on Twitter.
Mhm.
But Naomi posted basically this screenshot that I guess people circulate to her,
Mhm.
apparently from Fightful, which said like Naomi was about to sign the biggest contract of her life back before she walked out, and
Right.
she's been on good terms with WWE, blah blah blah. And then she tweeted, yeah, not true. And then I'm not totally clear on this, but it kind of looks like it was just fake. Like Sean Ross Sapp from Fightful said that screenshot is from Ringside News, not our site. But then he also posted here WWE had told him that they thought that Naomi was going to resign before the situation and that things were headed that way. This isn't about now. So he says whoever posted what she screenshotted had a real weird way of
Of
applying
wording.
context. So they
Mhm.
like took it out of context, but you like obviously they were trying to re-sign her before the walkout. Like,
Yeah.
of course she's Naomi, but yeah. So I guess we didn't really have an update, but it is interesting because like she could be back. I guess I'm wondering what was she saying was false. Was it like that she'd been in touch with them since about a deal? Was it the big money contract thing?
Right.
Aren't
It
people's
could have been.
contracts normally bigger when they resign? I don't know.
I don't know either, and that's the thing. Like, she's not gonna confirm something that deals with the backstage politics of WWE, especially when it
Yeah.
comes to like contracts and things like that.
Mhm.
But now I feel like WWE has an open door policy when it comes to Naomi, and they're
Of
like,
course.
okay, girl, whenever you're ready, whenever you feel like you're mentally and physically ready to come back, we'll have you back. And so
Mhm.
I feel like she's just been taking some time to do her thing and focus on herself. And we could see her at the Rumble. I would hope that she would come back for the Rumble. It would be a missed opportunity not to.
Mhm.
But
'Cause
you know,
didn't
well,
last year at the Rumble, didn't her that was the first time her stunt like went wrong, if I remember correctly. I
Ooh,
think last year at the Rumble,
the,
Naomi's stunt went wrong and Kofi's stunt went wrong, if I
Mari,
remember
we don't
correctly.
talk about look, Mari, the
It
past. We
happens
have to
though.
forget the
it's like
past. No
it's live.
mistakes.
Botches
Yeah, it is.
happen all the time. They happen in
Yeah.
drag. They happen in wrestling. It is what it is.
Exactly. Yeah,
It's
and it's
But
like
hard. What they do is hard. Like
it's
that
all
whole
yes.
like trying to catch yourself thing. So
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a lot. And also, I mean, the other thing I thought, Mari, that you'd reference is like Naomi had a return at the Rumble
yeah, I was just gonna
previously, which was a
Yeah.
big deal. And so,
huge.
but this would be such a bigger reaction, even than a bigger surprise just seeing her back.
Agree.
So
It's hard for me because I think that 2020 Rumble return was like perfect. Like I go back and watch that clip just over and over again. So I think it's going to be hard to top that. So I personally, I said on Twitter, I wouldn't even try. I would have Naomi come back either at Raw 30 or this week's SmackDown. Honestly, that's what I would have her come back then, and then she'll still get that pop at the Rumble.
Sure.
I just think I personally think I would have her. I would want that excitement of, oh my God, Naomi's back, like going into the Rumble. Then maybe she comes out and then she does it, or she comes out and it's in a difficult spot and it's just not as good as
right,
the previous pop.
Right.
Yeah,
Because it wasn't just the pop; it was the sequence after it as well. So
right, yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay, I see that. Yeah.
yeah. I truly don't mind when Rumble surprises are spoiled. Like, well, should I say, like when MVP got spoiled because people were taking a camera lens through the day before. Like, I don't like that.
What?
But them announcing, I'm not mad at. You don't remember that when MVP came back like 2 or 3 years ago? We knew before it happened because they were doing Rumble the
Trons.
They're Trons. Yeah, they were doing Tron rehearsal, and somebody had like a zoom in picture through the venue and could see his name, and it broke that he was coming back. Like, I don't like that.
Yeah, but things change, up until the minute of the Rumble.
Exactly.
Things can change, right? Like back to the first women's Rumble when Foxy got injured, and they took her out and announced that the day of the Rumble. So like things can change, people can change, whatever. So we never really
Phoenix
know
getting
who's gonna come
injured.
back, but I definitely didn't like
So it's like you have to be really, all the performers have to be on their toes. So that's what the one thing I do love about for Rumble. But so I don't mind. Like, I don't mind. Like, we can briefly talk about Cody Rhodes has announced that he's going to be at the Rumble. We're not moving away from the women, but like a lot of people were just, we're not moving away. A lot of people were mad. I'm like, we all knew he was coming back. Like, all knew he was going to come back. Him announcing it doesn't make it any less special.
Now you know. I don't think it'll hurt Cody Rhodes' return at all. Like, he's great, and they're gonna pop. They're gonna live for him. I'm gonna live for him. Like, and I'm excited to see that. But
who else is on your wish list, Victoria? For the
of course, I have to talk about this woman right here, the love of my life. Alicia Fox, of course. And I do feel like her time is now. She's been posting more regularly, bringing us into her world. I don't know if you've seen any posts from Alicia Fox, but she's been very active on Instagram now. When she took like a 2-year hiatus from social media altogether, now she's posting, and she's like changed her name in her Instagram bio to Vix. I think it could be like a different ring name, perhaps. She's been hinting at a return very heavily. People have been speculating whether or not she's coming to like AEW or WWE. Regardless, I just want to see her wrestle again, because she is so good. She's so talented, and I feel like she's in her prime right now. Right now. Like, I don't know if you've like seen any pictures of her recently, but like, she's jacked now. And she has all of the ink, and like, I'm very excited. I feel like she's definitely coming back at the Rumble. The Foxtrotters, you better get it ready, girl, because I'm ready for it too.
I mean,
when she came out last year, I was like, oh my God, I was shocked.
Oh my
I was
gosh.
amazed. I loved it. I
Do you
did
see her
not see it
work?
coming.
In the ring, like for
Mhm,
those 6 minutes, like in 2022 Rumble, like
mhm.
those drop kicks and the scissors kick, and
Mm,
like she can obviously still go. And
Yeah.
I
mhm.
feel like she's in a much better place personally right
Yes.
now. And that's definitely going to be able to translate into her in-ring work. I feel like we haven't seen the best of Alicia Fox yet. It's yet to come. And I'm so excited for it.
Ooh.
And I feel like that is so true of a lot of the women, just because like they're so much younger, or not even young. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's that, but also they're just like I always go back to, or when I was just like going back to the Rumble, when I was going back to I mentioned the Elimination Chamber match with Becky and Lita last year. I was like, wow, they need to do more of this, bringing back these women legends, because
Yes, the legends.
like Summer Rae is a great example. We literally listed out all these people who it's like could still go,
Mhm.
and I don't know why we don't have more of those, even one-off returns, assuming people aren't all interested in returning constantly. But the thing I appreciate most, Victoria, is what you said about just like her being in a better place personally, and I like have followed her on Instagram with some of that and her journey, and it's been great to even see more of like that personal growth on her end. And you always have to have a lot of people, just a lot of love for people who go through different things in their lives or challenges, especially in wrestling, where like alcohol could be a thing or other issues could be a
Yeah.
thing. And it's like, I'm happy for her that that she's doing well, or in a place where she could work through different challenges. So shout out to her.
Yes.
Yeah, I completely agree. Who else you got?
So this is somebody that I was thinking about like a day or two ago, and I don't know if it's gonna happen, but I would hope to see Sable back.
Oh,
Yeah, like I'm like, okay, so yeah, like it would be just for like, it's kind
A
of what they
nice
did with
pop.
Ivory, like in the
Mhm.
last Rumble, where it doesn't even have to be like a quick or a long,
Yeah.
Yeah,
like length of
stint,
time, I guess.
yeah.
Right. But like I would like to see just a one-off Sable
Mhm.
come back, like
That
she's great.
that would be like wild, because I mean, like, just because she has been gone for so long, and
Mhm,
like it, but also she was such an icon. I mean, it really is such an icon in the
mhm.
context of like WWE and all of that. And but also I just think it's interesting, like I swore at some point we might get like Sable and Brock Lesnar together, considering that they're
They're
married and all the
married.
things.
Married,
And
mhm.
so, look, I mean, if we get it, we get it. That would be that would be shocking. I don't even know
Right?
why, but it's just
I
been
could
like
just hear
20
that.
years.
That'd be so cool. I would
love
I
it.
would like Miss Jackie too. Like, did she
Oh,
come back?
yeah,
Yes.
Miss
Last
Jackie's come back with her little
Yeah, she's come
cowboy.
Yeah.
back
Wait,
with
do you
the
mean Miss?
Yeah.
cross.
So there's Miss Jackie or there's like Jacqueline,
Jacqueline,
who's
yeah.
like,
And
but then
Jackie
there's also
Gata.
Miss Jack. Yes, there's Jackie
Yeah.
Gata, who was in Tough
Mhm.
Enough at Miss Jackie.
No.
So
Wait, what?
yes, there was
No,
the other.
sorry.
No,
I
I
call
know there,
Jacqueline Miss Jackie because
there
I
were
feel
Oh,
like
two
okay,
it's
Miss
word.
her, like,
Jackies.
I
Okay, because
know
I
her,
thought
like,
you were
it's like a
talking.
term of endearment.
Ma'am.
Okay, yes, come through, Miss Jackie.
But
Love
yeah,
you,
no, I was
Jacqueline.
like, look, if you want Miss Jackie back,
Yes.
also,
Ooh,
you know what?
That's
Bring back
funny.
badass
Jackie Gata.
woman.
Shout out to Jackie Gata. We'll give her her moment.
Give her
But
props.
also Jacqueline,
Jacqueline.
Yes.
Miss
Yeah.
Jacqueline. I love her. Jackie
Yeah, I
Moore.
would love just like a veterans moment like that too.
Ooh,
Cause we've gotten Molly Holly, we've gotten Ivory, we got Victoria. Oh, we got
where's
Victoria. I'm so
Jazz? Where's
excited.
Jazz?
Jazz.
Yes.
Yes, that
Ooh.
was gonna be my next one.
Mm.
Jazz was talking about her retirement world tour. Like, bring the bitch back. You
She can
know?
body some bitches for sure.
And give her the win.
Ooh,
Give her the
yes.
win.
I would love to see. I would
I would
just to
take it.
hear that the jazz, like, ooh,
Jazzy, Jazz.
I would gag. I would
I would
gag if
love
Jazz
it. Oh
came
my
back.
God.
By the
I
way, I'm
know.
having like a lot of fun just like pulling up all these pictures of the different women and just going back.
I
And the
Yes.
thing
love
with
that
Jazz,
look. This look
Me too.
Like the
Everything.
yes, like
Everything.
balds. Like I just
Mhm.
I love the evolution too. So many amazing people. And like I feel like I'm Mari right now because I'm like, oh, it
Yeah,
makes me
like-
sad knowing that they won't have all of them back. But
I
like
know.
the anticipation is fun, so we could at least
Yeah.
have our moment.
Rumble is my favorite pay-per-view, my absolute
really
favorite
is.
pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
getting excited about like seeing who's gonna come back
Mhm.
and seeing all the mini storylines that they interweave, I guess, in
Mhm.
the Rumble. That's always fun. Like callbacks to previous storylines or whatever. Another person, by the way,
Ooh.
that I would love to see return is Miss Evelyn Torres.
Oh,
Eve
Oh,
Torres.
okay.
I would love to see Eve come back. She's cool.
And
She was one of my favorites
Mhm.
back
I
when
want to
she
say
was
something just
wrestling. So.
happened with her.
I feel like
What?
she's I mean, just while you think about that, Mari, like she is. I mean, I feel like she stays in amazing shape because the thing I
Mhm.
always see is like the self-defense videos that she puts out on
Mhm.
Instagram, and I learned I learned some moves from her. I'm like, look, if anyone comes for me, I need to
If
do the
anybody
Eve
comes for me,
Torres. But no, I mean, like that would be amazing.
Yeah.
I like. Hopefully someone from WWE is listening to this podcast and like, oh my god, we need ideas because we haven't plans ahead. So I don't know, we'll see what they do, but
Yeah.
well, you know what, I kind of hope though that they do, like there are some people we've talked about that they brought back a number of times that we'd like to see again, and again, like no shade to them, but there are only 30 spots, but it's like Kelly, I don't need you this, like maybe next year come back. Michelle
Right.
McCool, you come back next year.
Yeah.
Michelle McCool's had a lot of great Rumble performances, by the way, but
But we don't need it again.
yeah, like not just like take a year off,
If
like
Michelle
enjoy it.
McCool comes back, bring Layla.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh,
If
right.
Michelle ain't with Layla, then no.
You know what? Yeah, I want Michelle to walk out
so
and
true.
it's the music. She's like, no, 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 no. And then Layla, and she's there in Layla's corner. That's what Layla deserves. So
Mhm.
Oh, Eve Torres. All of these are such great. Yeah, like give the divas some
My
shine
diva
too.
heart is like just pounding so hard right now.
Same.
I love my divas.
Same.
I do
Same.
so much.
Same.
So
We need 2 women's rumbles. Or you know what? Give us like a 40 woman rumble. Just do that again.
Thank you.
Yes. Do
Truly,
that.
they should. Honestly,
Yeah.
didn't they do that for the
men.
fucking
The
whatever?
men.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh god,
Yeah.
that was
And they
the
did that
longest
also for the
one.
the biggest Royal Rumble ever.
Oh, they
That
did
one.
that,
That's
yeah,
what I
yeah.
was
Which
talking
I
about.
think
Yeah.
Braun Strowman might have won, or one of
I
I
think
don't
he
know.
won that.
Somebody
We
won
didn't
that.
watch. We
I-
didn't know.
yeah.
I don't remember. Yeah,
I saw it on
think
Twitter.
she did.
That's how I
Yeah.
found out.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, I blocked it out.
All right. Any more of the Rumble wish list before we move along?
I mean, yeah, I'm just
I
gonna
mean,
say
who
the
else?
divas like Maurice. I love Maurice. Like
Maurice,
and
yes.
she's returned
Maurice, of
a couple
course.
different
Yeah,
times.
she
She was
hasn't been
there
with the Miz
last.
for a while.
She was the.
Mhm.
I know. Well, she shows up randomly with the
Yeah,
balls.
she like comes in.
She
Yeah.
comes in, comes out. I just love
Which I
Maurice.
love that for her. Yeah, I know. Like I love that for her.
But I like regardless of like who comes back, I'm just so excited to watch the
Same.
Rumble. And I actually am going to the Monday Night Raw February 6th in
Oh,
Orlando.
Okay.
And so I'll get to see really the aftermath of the Rumble. And
We're
I'm
ready.
really
yes.
hoping that Fox comes back in some capacity and like maybe even wins the thing. Could you imagine if I met Alicia Fox?
I
would
need
be
that picture.
awesome.
I need that picture.
Yeah,
I need
like
it. I need it.
I can't.
Like,
I can't. I'm gonna start crying.
I'm just saying.
Tag.
I see a tag team. There's a tag team there. So
Yeah.
I'm just hoping you're starting training.
And we're name twins. Come on.
Yes.
Like,
We're ready for it.
So while we have you here, let's get your predictions for the Rumble. Who do you think is gonna win the women's Rumble? And we'll do the men's. Why not? Oh, guys.
well, for the men's, because I do feel like it may be a little bit easier.
Mhm.
I'd say Seth.
Ooh.
If he enters like the Rumble, I don't know if he's been announced for the Rumble yet. But like
I can't remember.
yeah, I definitely see Seth's journey going upward.
Yes,
For
it's
the
really good.
women, I can't really say just because I don't think it's anybody on the current roster. I feel like it's going
Really?
to be a return winner, like
Ooh.
somebody who's not. So like it could be
Love
a
that.
Naomi or a, you know, like I feel like it's gonna be a return to win.
I love
I'll
that.
tell you who it won't be. Sasha Banks. It will not be
It
Sasha
will
Banks.
not be
Right.
Mercedes Monet.
I think
Yeah.
yes, I know. Well, yeah, it definitely won't be Mercedes Monet,
That's for
or
sure.
Sasha Banks, but you know, and I think we learned that lesson of like she has her first match scheduled.
Mhm.
She's not gonna wrestle before that. Mari,
Mhm.
we need to book our tickets to San Jose to
Oh,
be
God.
there on
Are you
February
guys
19th.
serious? That's so exciting.
Mari has
I
to book me some tickets and be my
Okay.
sugar mama for that. But we'll
am the parent here. I'm an actual mama. I can't be your sugar mama.
I'm a cat
we'll do the
mama.
live stream. We'll watch it. We'll watch it.
Yeah, I agree. So like we'll see. So you'll get our Royal Rumble predictions at our Royal Rumble's prediction
Right.
episode. So yes, let's just take a quick ad break and
Mhm.
we'll move on to a little bit of fun. All right.
That's good.
Ooh.
I love fun.
Mhm.
Okay, so we just thought while we had Victoria here, we'll just like play some little fun drag related like questions and games with wrestlers, because as if you, unless you've lived under a rock, I am a very huge Drag Race fan. Matt is a huge Drag Race
Thank
fan.
you.
Victoria,
I
you
don't
like
like
Drag Race?
No,
Okay,
I'm
that's
kidding.
fine.
Of course, I love Drag Race.
Yes. Drag Race, Dragula, all of the above.
Right.
We're huge drag fans. Let me do a quick plug. I was on the Drag Race RHAP podcast last week, so if you want to go hear my thoughts on season 15, episode 3 over there, you can go and check me out over there.
Mhm.
But we wanted to just have a little fun, like here. So we'll ask a few questions and give our thoughts on this. So one of the first questions I came up with: which wrestlers scream drag legend to you guys? So I am going to
You go
start with
first. 'Cause
Matt.
I am
I am
no.
going to start with Matt. You
I
knew that
hate
this was
this.
coming.
I hate this. I hate this. How dare you, Mari? And here's the thing. I'm good at stalling for time. So what I'm gonna say is that who's giving qualities of a drag legend. Let me break this down. Like just the flair. They need to
Yes.
have like the pizzazz. You know what?
The charisma.
The charisma, the uniqueness, the nerve, maybe even the talent. You know what? I'm gonna go outside the box just because they come up pretty close to first when I'm on the WWE roster page. I'm gonna give you the New Day. The New Day is giving me drag
Ooh.
legends, and it's like a lot of the
Okay.
outfits. They'll bring the bootios in, like they really bring in the flair, and we love that. But yeah, New Day is one. I mean, I also just to like throw in someone else. Asuka's also often giving like
Oh,
just the
yes.
flair. I think anyone who's
And the
really, for
camp,
me,
Asuka's
anyone who's
pretty.
bringing the charisma, uniqueness, the nerve, the talent, like that's what it's about. But those are like two that jump out for me immediately. I love these questions. I'm gonna keep thinking.
Victoria, how about you?
Yes. So the first person that comes to my mind, we talked about him before a little bit ago, about Seth Rollins.
Yes.
Like, and
Oh!
all of the regalia, like he's so pretty. I'm like, oh wow, I would wear this and perform in this. Like all of the outlandish outfits,
I
Mhm.
love
I'm
it.
a huge fan of it. And of course, Becky Lynch, she
Yeah.
has a similar style. You know, I
Mhm.
don't know if you've seen like what she's been wearing like to different like outside like interviews and like
Mhm.
things like that she's been doing, but like she's coming out with some amazing pieces that I'm like, this is fashion, baby. This is.
By the way, just back to Seth for a second. If you're watching the video, like this is, I just randomly came across this. Like literally, it is drag. Like it is
high drag.
high drag, and we appreciate that so much. Wow, those are
Oh my
great
God.
picks,
I
Mari.
do.
Mari.
She stole my pick, so now I gotta
I mean, that was true though. Two people can confirm, Seth, you're a drag queen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have to give it to Naomi as well. Naomi,
Mm.
she switches up her style so much, so flamboyant. I love everything that she does with her hair. One minute it's a big old fro, the next minute it's in braids, it's blue, it's green, it's whatever she wants.
Mhm.
I love Naomi, and I think
Yes.
I loved when she had, well, of course, I love the Team Bad era with the bandanas, but I love when
Yeah.
she was finding the glow gimmick, and each week she would come out with something completely different. Like we
Yeah.
never knew what her ring attire was going to be. We just never knew, and I love Naomi for that, and I think that's a good one. I'm trying to think of a good male one. I mean, Seth did just kills it. I can't really think of another man who's like
I'm
on
trying
his
to
level,
think.
really.
Yeah, and I mean, like Seth feels good. There are like, there's some of those. I always feel like in WWE, and it's like always been coded language, but they're like, he's so flamboyant. Da, 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 da,
Oh
da.
yeah.
Like, and Victoria, you mentioned Goldust earlier as like someone who brings that. But in terms of today, I don't know. And I just finished scrolling through the entire WWE roster of everybody. But I think we kind of nailed it in terms of like the men.
Pretty
Yeah, and
deadly on NXT.
yes,
They're
pretty
pretty
deadly. They're
stylish,
so
I
Yeah.
think.
good.
And like the Tyler Breeze, the
Ooh.
Fandango.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love
That's giving me
yes,
drag
Mhm.
Fashion
energy.
Police.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
yeah.
I mean,
Mhm.
in a weird way, like I would also throw in like Shinsuke Nakamura. I don't know
Ooh,
what it is.
yes.
I don't know what it is like, but but definitely Shinsuke is. I think more from the performance, from the charisma perspective.
Sensei's a good
Like
one.
we've definitely seen him do like I'm gonna call them death drops. I know that there's
They're dips. They're
But
dips.
yeah, that
the dips. Yes, exactly.
so
It slipped my
powerful, so
mind. That's
cool.
why I said it like that. So
I love it.
but yeah,
Yes.
Shinsuke also comes to mind.
Yeah, and it's in a weird way. In like the other side of the coin, I think Gunther is kind of high drag as well. In a sense, like he is like. I'm sorry, I don't care. I think it's in a opposite direction. It's like in a overtly like I don't care. I don't care. The way that they twirl his jacket off of him, the way that they call him the Ring General, I love it. I don't care.
I love
It's
it.
like camp. It's like ultimate camp, but it's also serious. It's so weird.
I
It
wasn't
does something to
ready.
me.
I wasn't ready.
Okay, so that is interesting because like I
Yeah.
did like go over some of the questions and I would put Gunta and the entire
second one?
Imperium in the second category, ma'am.
What is Ari? What is
Like,
that
they
second
need-
category?
Presentation, y'all. It is the presentation of it all. It
I like-
feels so like, and I think we saw it more in NXT. I think NXT they were like they had the whole thing. They had like the whole pomp and
Horrible.
circumstance. I don't care. I live here. There are so many versions of drag. Don't come
You're
for
right.
me.
You're
Don't
right.
come
I'll
for
drive
me.
No,
down.
I see it. I see what you're talking about.
I
So.
can
come
see it.
from it.
That I love the
Wow.
way the announcer what's her name?
Samantha Irvin, friend
Samantha
of the
Irvin.
Ooh.
Thank you. But I love the way that she says Imperium's names. Like,
yes.
it
Wow.
gives me everything that I need and it builds their character. It does so much
Yes.
for them. It actually
Mhm.
builds them up.
Mhm.
Like, if that makes sense. I
Yeah.
love it when Imperium comes out just so I can hear her go. And I'm not gonna imitate it, but
My dream would be to just have her on the podcast just for like a quick interview, just to go over like when she was tweeting about the different inflections she uses
Yeah.
on different in-ring performers. I would love to just pick her brain about that.
She
Oh my
knows
God.
where to find us. She
She
knows.
does, yeah.
She listens to the. She's in the Rob as a podcast community. We see you, Samantha. You're probably not
Yeah.
listening to this, but
Yeah. All right. Okay. Fine. All right. Let's move.
I like that, Mari. It broke me. Like I'm like I see what you're saying.
It broke
I
it
never
for me
laughed that
too.
hard.
The sparks are like flying off his head. The next one is which wrestlers could use a drag makeover? So
Let me give you some.
okay,
Let me just give you some, because I
Oh my God.
I would go with some people I just want to like pull out more of the personality. And
Mhm.
actually, my mind goes to Raquel Rodriguez, actually, as one person, because I'm like, I just would love to see what her ultimate realization of her would be. And then in terms of the men, it's really interesting. I mean, Omis could use a
Ooh,
drag makeover. We could give
yeah.
that to him. I don't know. It's like I'm sure there's a pretty long list, but I'm just thinking like people who are more dry, but that there's like something there that maybe they could pull out of themselves. Like this reminds me of like the challenges you'll see on Drag Race where it's like, okay, we brought in this like, like former veteran straight guy daddy bear, and now we're gonna actually dress him up in drag. Like that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm looking for.
But not the one that killed Judy Garland, though.
No, please no.
Yeah, Victoria, any people who can use a drag makeover?
So besides Imperium, because that was my very first choice, I would say the brawling brutes as well.
Oh yeah.
They could use a little Jeanette or whatever. And then
I
also
agree.
Tegan Knox.
Okay, I see the
Girl.
vision.
Yeah, that's what
I'm
I'm
like,
yeah.
what are you doing?
Because
Right.
Tegan, it feels weird because it feels like Tegan is trying to be edgy, but it's just not. I don't feel
It's just the hair
anything
color.
from it. Yeah, it's just a hair color. Yeah. And it's like drag is so much more than that. Like we got to
Yeah.
pull out whatever's in there. And I've famously gone on record on this podcast saying like Tegan Knox is very boring and does nothing for me. No offense to her. No
She
offense to
doesn't do
her.
anything for me either. So
Yeah.
Tegan Knox
But
is
I feel like there's something there, right? Like I
Yeah,
feel like there's
there.
something there.
There's always something there. That's like
somewhere.
that's the beauty of drag, I think. There's like something there if you dig deep enough for everybody. And then there's like, and because there's so many different types of drag, which I think we've kind of touched on a little.
I feel like Nikki Cross could use a good drag makeover. I think I like the sanity Nikki Cross, like the feral person. We talked about the hero, like almost a superhero, never worked for me. This in between iteration for her, where she's literally just wearing t-shirts and jeans and a leather jacket, like no, we can do something. And she had, especially since she's like a great worker, like she can be decent on the mic if they let her talk. I feel for her because I think she's so much better than what they've given her.
I agree.
And I just think they don't know what to do with her. They just don't.
Speaking of her, I would also throw Dewdrop. Where has Dewdrop been? But I throw Dewdrop in. I'd be interested in seeing Dewdrop in drag. I don't think there's a lack of personality there necessarily, just a lack of direction. So wow.
Yeah. Dewdrop's out like amazing. I like what she's done with like given the name and everybody's like, what is this? And her series
now.
with Bianca.
Do the
exactly.
Do
exactly. Do the do. Right. Like I don't understand why she's not in that Nia Jax position. Like I really feel like we've been missing a lot since Nia Jax left, which maybe she could come back as a woman. But
that would be
onto something.
Yeah, like that charismatic, like throw them around type girl. Like they keep trying to make that Raquel, and I'm like,
it's not Raquel. It's never gonna be Raquel.
I'm trying to make fetch happen. Like,
right?
Where is Dewdrop? She is the one. She has the charisma. She has that body type. She has that. Oh, I want to see her smash people. Like, what is happening? So yeah, I think definitely those two. Let's see, any men. I like all of the men. Honestly.
I mean, I would throw
pretty
in.
Much. I was like, y'all need drag 101.
I was gonna say, someone who I would actually shout out, who's been. I almost named him as a, kind of like a drag legend, but right now he's not really bringing it. Bray Wyatt would be very interesting to pull out more of that from, like, because I just
he loves a costume.
He does love it.
He loves a costume.
I think he would really enjoy it, which is like the main reason.
Yeah, I agree.
Mhm.
And we were actually like on the second question, and I was thinking about it, and Bray Wyatt came to my mind too, but I didn't say it, so now I'm vocalizing it, and I agree. Bray Wyatt is
Yeah,
There we
definitely a drag
go.
legend as well.
Yes, yes,
I
yes.
love that. Yeah.
Mhm.
And then finally, we did get inspired by a tweet from Willow Pillow on Twitter. They asked me also, are there any good wrestlers in the WWE world that would be great guest judges on RuPaul's Drag Race? And we started this conversation because I had posted about Naomi, and she said
Mhm.
she looks like a guest on Drag Race, and I was like,
Yeah.
Naomi would be an amazing guest on Drag Race. Matt, any people you think could be a good guest on Drag Race?
You know, the number one person who comes to mind for me, just like because I just wish they emphasize this part of their personality or who they are more. But Sonia Deville would be amazing on Drag Race,
Mm.
just like bringing in more of like her own identity. And
Yeah.
also, like another person who came to mind for me, but mostly because I just came fresh off like being reminded of his WrestleMania entrance, less than Sonia, but like Finn Balor would be interesting on Drag Race. I don't
Ooh.
know what to expect with that, but I just would like even like the opportunity to see his personality outside of all that he's been giving, just the, like what are we gonna get?
Yeah.
Yeah. Finn would be great. That would be a great option. And I agree. I like
Super
Sonia
good.
as
If he
an
were
option
shirtless,
too.
like on
Yeah.
the channel.
Put Finn on the pit crew.
Our RuPaul gays, they're like, oh, okay, my tune in.
How about
I
you,
agree.
Good
Victoria?
marketing.
So I would say Bianca Belair. I
Me
would
Ooh.
too.
love to see her
Mhm.
guest judge on RuPaul's Drag Race. I love her personality. I feel
Mhm.
like she can volley really well, does
Yes.
really well, like professionally and like in interviews and things like that. So I
Mhm.
love Bianca so much,
Me
and
too.
she's stylish too. So, and she makes her own
Mhm.
gear.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly.
So, like, that's another thing too. Like, she's a drag girl. She,
Mhm.
Yes, she is. How did we not include her in Drag Legends? Like,
I
Bianca
don't
Belair is a
know.
She
drag
is.
legend.
She
Yeah,
is. It's
She owns
underrated.
her own
so
stuff. Oh my
beyond for
Underrated.
gosh,
sure.
that's so true. But like, and then she doesn't even need a wrestling challenge to be on that. She could literally be on a design challenge with them. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
Mhm.
literally.
Mhm.
you nailed it, Victoria. She would be perfect.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, that was so good. For me, I think another person, Sasha Banks, Mercedes Monet, all of the above. Put her on
Yeah.
there. She could do like
Totally.
she could guest judge one of their like brand challenges. Oh,
Oh,
perfect.
yeah.
The branding
Mhm.
challenge.
Yeah.
Because
Mhm.
if anything, Mercedes
Monet.
knows how to brand.
Yes,
Like
ew. Fucking flame in the hair. Like,
Mhm.
who a genius, right? Like, only a
right.
genius
Uh-huh.
could think of something like that. And I love the way her mind works. And like,
Yeah,
I'm so happy she's getting sort of global recognition now. You
totally.
know
Same.
what I mean? Because she's great and she's worked very hard. And I love her so
Mhm.
much. I do. She's
So
also one of my
much.
favorites.
Yes.
Same. She is our favorite.
Yeah, favorite. Yeah.
Mhm.
She's my favorite horsewoman. So,
Well,
like out of all
yeah,
of them, I would say
yeah, yeah,
Sasha.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There we go.
All right, this is so fun. Again, all of the highlights that we've talked about this week can be found in the playlist, in our highlights playlist, in the show description and the show notes. Victoria, thank you so much for coming
Yeah.
on. This has been so amazing.
Me.
We are so happy to have you on. Please plug yourself, your
Yes.
shows, your social media. Plug it all. Plug it.
Okay. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to do this, by the
No,
way.
thank
I
you.
think it's really special. I'm very grateful for that. And I am an Orlando queen, but like
Mhm.
you can catch me performing in Sanford every Thursday at Mannequins Lounge. Showtimes
Yes.
at 10 and 11.
Mhm.
Also every Friday at Be Nice, which is a patio bar in Orlando, downtown Orlando. Showtimes also at 10 and 11. And
Mhm.
then also some Mondays at Savoy, Orlando. Showtimes typically at 11 and 12 midnight. And then in terms of my socials, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, at X Victoria Cage X. And yeah. And like just like if anybody wants to like chat wrestling, chat drag with me, like I'm so down. I'll do that shit with you all day. So
I love it. I love that. And it like we like walk it like we talk it. We say support your local queens, like for real.
Yeah.
Please.
Go support your local queens.
Yeah, and just by the way, like your local queens show so much support for you. Like that's the other thing. Like I think there's so much. The thing that's amazing about drag, and it's cool to be able to talk about it because I was also jealous of Mari when I was like, oh, look at Mari talking about drag on this other podcast without me, because you know Mari how we always are tied together. But no, I like love that, and it's like there's the camp of it all and like the fun and the entertainment and the looks and all of that, but then there's also like the depth of it and the support of the community and just the love there too, and so amazing. And thanks for coming on. I'm glad that we could actually make this happen. And I guess I'll just plug the things. But you can, well, I'm not even going to plug the Wrestling RHAPUp because we're here right now. Mari will do some plugs, I'm sure, for this show. And again, you'll see us on the Royal Rumble predictions in just a few days. But then, the other thing I'll mention is that I host a show called Pod Friends where I interview people in the Rob Has a Podcast community. So I had my premiere episode last week featuring Marianne Oketch, who won Survivor 42, and it was this like fun conversation. Marianne is an inspiration, but she's just like a ball of energy and fire, and that was actually like one of the shortest episodes of Pod Friends to date, out of the, because I guess I had my 1 year anniversary of Pod Friends this month. But then like it's been cool because I have another episode coming out this weekend, which is actually the longest one, featuring Mike Bloom, who is a journalist with Parade Magazine, covers Survivor, and just so incredible. And we talk so much about like mental health and his journey there, and fun and shenanigans, and I'm all over the place, and it's just like the emotional, it's kind of like what I said about drag, where it's like you get it all, and that conversation has it all, and I love Mike so much. So I'd encourage people to check that out too, and subscribe to the podcast at robhasawebsite.com/podfriendsfeed, or go wherever you could find your podcasts and hit subscribe on the Pod Friends feed, because it'll help out the show. But that is all I have to plug for now. Mari, where can the people find you?
Okay. Other than here, of course, you heard my partner in crime, me and Sarah Carradine. Every week we bring True Crime Tuesdays to RHAP over on the Crime Scene podcast. So you can follow us at robhasawebsite.com/crime feed. Please go subscribe to Crime Scene. We're a true crime review podcast where we review true crime documentaries, docuseries, and we give them ratings and we tell you if it's worth watching. We also had Mike Bloom on. He's coming up on this Tuesday. We had him watch The Pez Outlaw on Netflix. A very fun, lighthearted documentary. So if you're not into like murder or anything, nobody dies in this one. So we actually had to ask, was there a crime? So definitely go check it out. It was a great episode. We had a lot of fun with Mike. So you can also follow me on Twitter at Mari Talks Too Much. That's 2 like the number 2. I will post everywhere where I'll be whenever I do guests on different podcasts. So just follow me there and you'll see it. You'll see the thread. Of course, this is the Wrestling RHAPUp. Please subscribe if you haven't already. You can always subscribe wherever you get your podcast, but definitely you can go to robhasawebsite.com/wrestling feed. You can also watch our beautiful faces. Like this is the one to go and watch our beautiful faces here over on the YouTube, mostly Victoria's. Over on YouTube, on the Rob Has a Podcast YouTube page. Again, you can always join us on our Facebook group, the Job Has a Squadcast Facebook group, where we are talking to everybody. And for me, Matt and Victoria, thank you, everybody. Remember, wrestling is for everybody, but not all wrestling is for everyone. Bye.
Hit our theme music.
Bye, babies.
Throw 'em up, lay it down just like Matt and Mari. Wrestling liver RHAPUp's gonna make it sorry. Feeling like The Rock, cause I'm driving in Ferraris. And we coming every week and it's feeling like a party. Moolah Ric Flair, showing out like Bianca Belair, Best podcast, flush it in the air, Roman Reigns and we win it, don't care, No cap. Throw 'em up, lay it down just like Matt and Mari. Wrestling liver RHAPUp's gonna make it sorry. Feeling like The Rock, cause I'm driving in Ferraris. And we coming every week and it's feeling like a party.